Welcome to The Riff, brought to you by mytoronto.ca, where two internationally acclaimed artists, painter and animator Gary O'Brien and jazz fusion guitarist Jeremy Green, dig into Toronto's entertainment scene, where they'll be hanging out with all sorts of creative minds, from music, comedy, sports, theater, and everything that lurks in between, with a special spotlight on our foodie culture.
Hello, everyone. How are we today? My name's Gary. Welcome to The Riff. And next to me, Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Gary. How are you?
You're wearing green.
I am.
For your last name
green.
there.
Yeah,
fantastic.
You're branding.
Mr. Right? Green in the study with the candlestick.
Okay.
No, I got it wrong.
Yeah. Colonel Mustard. I don't know.
How you doing?
Doing good, man. Yeah, life's good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Getting ready for dare I say, the C word, Christmas.
Oh, I know.
Holiday season.
Fast approaching. Yeah. I'm not prepared. I know that. I fully accept that every year.
Yep.
Nothing unusual about that. I was at my computer last night though, and I was, going through some production things and, doing some work. And I have to go back on an old drive, right? And I have a folder, home movies. Clicked on that.
That's always
my
scary.
God. It was like stuff from like way back in the 70s. And it was my parents, they had a Super 8 camera, right? And this thing, the ones that kind of could give you a sunburn when it came on with the flash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The flash.
Yeah, they're holding it like it.
Yeah. And it had a whirl to it when it recorded, right? And so this was like stuff from way back when I was a baby, right? And it was all done, way back when. And it was the Super 8 cameras that only came out
You have the same hairstyle. You probably had that here.
Yeah, as a baby, yeah. Way back when, yeah. And it only came out during Christmas and birthdays and maybe the odd party or something like that. And this thing was like, it looks so ancient now because it was from Super 8 camera, transferred over to VHS, transferred over to DVD or CD, and then transferred again into a digital file.
From a scroll.
There's like no color in these things anymore. All the color's been evaporated.
Yellow and brown like the 70s,
But anyway, all these Christmases from way back when, right? And it kind of got me to think of like, what were those significant presents that Santa delivered that made an impression on you?
Right.
What would that be for you?
Talking for me? I remember getting an axe once. My brother got me an axe. He wrapped it up.
Axe?
The reason I remember it.
Not a guitar slang term here.
I'm talking like a wooden axe. Like it was all wrapped up in the shape of an axe. That's why I remember it. Because it was literally, it was sitting beside the tree. And I wasn't a kid. I was like, we were like teenagers or whatever. My brother was building his property. He bought a waterfront thing, a cottage, and we were kind of
So he bought you an axe to do work on his property.
So he bought me an axe to do work on his property.
Yeah,
so
that's a nice gift.
But I'm just remembering it because of the shape, because he literally wrapped it tightly so it was sitting beside the Christmas tree with the wrap, and it's like, I wonder what that is. Yeah,
I was thinking my drum set. My drum set was my biggest thing. I was 12 years old. And I never got an axe. An axe is
I know.
Anyway,
no, I had lots of nice presents when I was little, but none of them really.
And I would say
that's the only one. When you said that, I'm kind of on the spot, and I have to.
The axe, very impressionable.
Yeah, so anyway,
it made an impression.
It did, yeah.
And I would invite everyone, in terms of the comments, post your impressionable Christmas gift that you got as a kid or an adult or a teenager as an axe. Whatever gift you got, put it in the comments. Let's just see what people come up with. That'd be really interesting.
And end up playing the axe, which is cool. Yeah.
And there you go.
There you go. Maybe that started it all.
One thing leads to another here.
One thing leads to another.
I like that.
Anyway.
Very nice.
Yep.
All right. Let's get to our guest, because our guest is a very interesting woman that we have on the show today. And I would like to get to it right now. Okay, so here we go. With us, a true Canadian triple threat. Actually, I'm going to say a quadruple threat. An actor, singer, pianist, and multi-instrumentalist. She has performed across Canada, the US, Austria, and Japan. She's known for standout turns in major productions like Once, The Sound of Music, Natasha, Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, Two Pianos, Four Hands, and the Tony-nominated Broadway musical by Steve Martin and Edie Brickell, bright star. Offstage, she's just as accomplished. A sought-after voice specialist, masterclass clinician, private coach, and music director. She's on the voice faculty at Sheridan College, serves as president of the Canadian Music Festival Adjudicators Association, and is part of the Royal Conservatory of Music's College of Examiners. In her downtime, she shares life with her equally talented actor-musician husband, Rick Hughes, and their mini schnauzer, Gustav Mahler. Because every dog is named after a famous composer. Now, founder and artistic director of Garner Theatre Productions. Welcome to the Riff, Donna Garner. Yes. Thank you for coming today. How are you, Donna?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. It's so great to be
fantastic.
here.
Yeah.
What a list there of credentials. That is...
Who is that person?
That is amazing. Wow. Yeah. So let's sort of take it back here. I hear you are the youngest of 13 kids in your family.
I am. Guilty as charged.
Wow.
Lucky
What's
13.
What's that like with, so many members of the family in one house?
I don't know. I didn't know anything different. I was just this lucky little kid with all these brothers and sisters. 9 brothers, and 4 sisters.
And where would that be?
I grew up near Stratford, Ontario. I grew up on a dairy farm, just outside of Embro, which is a little village there. And my nephew is still on the farm there, so I get to go back whenever I want.
Okay.
Which is really nice. And
what's the age spread there between
25 years between the oldest, my oldest brother and myself. He's still around, so I still get to see my siblings when we can get together. We do. And,
very nice.
That's very
headed
cool.
that way for Christmas Day. Actually.
Wow.
I am not going to take an axe.
No,
but I do recall my brother Keith getting an axe wrapped up for Christmas.
Oh, the same.
So
thing,
I guess that's the gift to give.
The gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know. What
Nothing says Merry Christmas like an axe.
So, Trace, we need some questions.
Yeah.
But no, that's fine.
So what would be, going back to that childhood, or what was the impression then on you in terms of this musical theater, acting, that kind of thing? Where did that kind of come from?
Our family was really quite musical. Like we played a lot of sports, but we were always singing around the piano at family events, and we sang at church together, and so with so many kids there, mom and dad.
You could have
my dad was not a singer. I will tell you.
Harmonies. Yeah.
We used to joke that Dad said the hymns, and that was it. It was like a monotone. It was a riot if you stood beside Dad in church, because it was
like start a family band, a family couple. You could have a battle of the bands within the same family.
Yeah, we definitely could.
Wow.
But definitely all the soprano, alto, tenor, bass parts were covered within the family. Actually, our family, as a family, put on The Sound of Music when I was 17. I played Liesel, so I wasn't 16 going on 17. I was already 17. But anyways, that was when London was building their Ronald McDonald House, London, Ontario.
Right.
And our family raised enough money for charity that we were able to pay for the windows that went into Ronald McDonald House in London at the time. If I'm right about my facts there, and I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So we put on The Sound of Music, just our family members, and I think there were a couple extra nuns that we had a couple of friends join us in the nuns chorus there, and then I think 7 or 8 years later we did Pirates of Penzance as a family as well. So very musical family.
So these are actual musicians, your family members. Do they still play, or anybody? Or?
That was mostly like singing and acting.
Right.
So, but some of us also played a bunch of instruments as the years went on too. Took piano growing up.
How many instruments do you play? Because I heard that you also had to learn, was it the accordion for
I learned accordion on the fly actually when Once had won all the Tonys on Broadway, and they were forming their cast for their first national tour throughout the States. And actually, I was doing a show out in Brampton at the Rose Theatre. I was doing was I doing cabaret or was I doing? No, I was doing full Monty. And a friend of mine in the cast, we were in tech, and he said, "Hey, Garner," he's got his phone out. And he said, "They're coming to Toronto to audition people for the first national tour of Once. You got to audition for this." And I said, "Oh, there's nothing for me in that show." He said, "No, listen to this. Woman between 40 and 50 plays accordion or plays piano." And I'm like, "Yep, check, that's me." Plays accordion. I was like, "Oh, I don't play the accordion." Oh, jeez. But the rest of the character description sounded good, so I thought, well, maybe I'll see if I can rent an accordion and see if I can figure that out. So I rented an accordion that night on the way home, and I only had 8 days before the audition, so I had to figure out how to play the accordion in 8 days. And that first audition was a little tense because I walked in the room, and the casting director from New York was pretty crappy. And I walked in the room, and I had the accordion on, but the strap was somehow over top of the keys. So the first sound was, and I was like, what the heck's going on here? This was fine in the hall.
Yeah, I swear it was the accordion. Yeah.
And then I realized that the strap was just over top of the keys. So once I got that figured out, I played my tune, and it went well, and he just gruffly said, "Come back in 2 days and play this." And so I knew that he liked me because most people got cut that day. Anyways, long story short, I went down to New York for the callback, and I booked that. And I got to do the show for 2 years. I toured all across the U.S. with that show, and I got to do it in Toronto. It toured up into Toronto for 6 weeks, so I got to come home, sleep in my own bed for a bit. And that was a very, very popular show at the time, so it was pretty nice to book that one.
Yeah,
and,
that's super cool.
Yeah, it's a lovely show.
Nice.
Irish musical. I actually, there was a couple Czech characters in the show that figure quite prominently in the story, and I played the Czech mother in the show. So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So with accordion, then how many instruments?
I play about 8 or 9 instruments.
Oh my! Wow.
Piano and I played cello and I played violin as a kid, so I've added fiddle back into the repertoire over the years. And I just learned how to play viola, and I've played double bass on shows over the years.
So what are you most comfortable on? Like, what's your number one?
Piano.
Piano.
Yeah, piano. Right. My degree is actually in classical voice, but I've always played piano throughout my life, and at a quite a high level.
It's cool that you got to the strings from piano, because that's
I attribute that. I played a bit of violin as a kid, but I didn't really take to it. But when the strings program was introduced at my elementary school, that's when it really took off for me, because I was already taking violin lessons privately, but I took cello in school, and I loved it.
It's such a cool instrument.
It's so beautiful. And I said to my mom, "Can I quit violin?" And I was already taking figure skating, and I was a softball pitcher, and I was a busy kid. So I think Mom kind of thought, well, this would be great if there's one less lesson I have to get her to. So she let me quit violin, and I played. I just fell in love with the cello, and I played that all through high school. And then as an adult, eventually, I bought a cello and got back to it. But I've never really taken cello privately.
Right.
But it's been something that I've been able to play in shows, and I've been just blessed in my career to be able to pick up instruments as needed or required in shows over the years, and then it became something that turned into a calling, really, and was kind of the birth of this theater company.
Wow.
Right.
And in just a moment, we'll be right back after these words. All right, we're back. Let's get back to the show. So, let's get to that then. So tell us about the Garner Theatre Productions then that you've...
Yeah, it's interesting. I did once, of course, as I mentioned, for 2 years in the States, and then I also did it for Mervish, the all-Canadian cast. And then right after that, I booked Sound of Music in the States. I went back to the States for 2 years. And so I ostensibly was in the States for 4 years. And when I came back from the States, I thought, well, what do I want to do now that I'm back in Canada? And one thing I noticed about my time in the States was that the audiences there and my colleagues there really celebrated theater and really were quite fearless about the way they approached the industry. And so I wanted to borrow some of that enthusiasm and bring that back to how I approached my work here in the theater business here. Because I think sometimes as Canadians, even though we have every bit as much talent as our American colleagues, as our British colleagues in this industry, we can be a little bit apologetic about.
There's a little aw shucks going on.
Yeah. Well, I can do this,
much
but
better about being
let's
bravado,
let's grab it,
asserting themselves.
Let's grab it.
I agree. I'm totally envious of that too.
Yeah,
I have the same thing where I feel kind of like, please, thank you. It's like.
Well, even in music, right? We always kind of think
absolutely.
if a band makes it in Canada, you're famous in Canada. But if you make it in the States, well, hey, that's kind of proving your worth now, kind of thing. And I don't think that's, is that the best way to go? No, because I think there's so much Canadian talent out there that stands on their own in Canada.
Darn right.
Well,
and we should be pumping that up.
We are growing as a country too, so
True.
It's not going to be too far along before it won't matter.
I hope so. I hope we get to that.
Honestly. Yeah, and it's a global thing too, right? We, especially in the older years, because of media and the way it was, we were trumped, no pun intended, by America. Like they literally had control over almost all the media presence and all the stuff in the world. Well, that's changed because the internet and all that stuff now. So we're getting a lot of, when I was a kid, did you even hear of things like Bollywood and stuff? Like I didn't even know what was happening in India or these other countries. Yeah. They have entire theater, movie, music scenes that are vibrant and living, and we know nothing about them. Well, now people are actually checking them out from all around the world. When I look at my statistics on people who are listening to my stuff, most of them, not most of them are from Canada, but they're from
other places,
countries and all around the world. So we don't need them as much as we did, and I think that's going to be less and less over time, which is good for all of us, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So when for these productions that you have through the Garner Theatre Production Company, you're obviously taking acting and music and combining it. Right?
Yeah, that's the concept. Actor-musician theater is about really fusing everything, So we are the players on stage in every sense of the word. So we are acting out the script. We are singing the music in the show if there's music in the show.
So that removes an orchestra then.
And we're also playing all of the orchestral parts.
Right.
So it can remove the orchestra, or you can keep some people in the orchestra if you want to have a partial actor musician show and you want to have some people in the pit or off the side of the stage or whatever. But so far with our company, we've put everybody on stage doing all three of the roles, and I kind of like that immersiveness.
I will say too, we went and saw the show Bright Star, and it was incredible. It's amazing to see all the actors with all the stuff on. They have their instruments on at all times. They're all singing, but within minutes you kind of forget that the instruments are even there, and it's just a story, and they're doing it, and it was really, really cool to see. Because it added a thing to it. Not only were you watching the story and listening to music, but you could also actually watch them orchestrated and play. And they're moving around on stage too, which is kind of fascinating too, because the mix was changing, right? It's like all of a sudden the guitar's over here, next thing you know it's over there, next thing the bass, the bass was usually up here. But it was really, really cool. That's the first time I've ever seen.
And thanks for coming.
That done. Our pleasure.
And the thing is, we all know as musicians that when a song is written, that the instrumental lines are trying to complement the lyrics, right? So when you fuse the musician with the actor, then what they're playing can actually complement the lyric at the same time. So it makes it even more
It's neat that it's the same person.
Emotional.
To your point, it's the same person doing it. They're acting and they're trying to portray a thing. Well, they're also in control of the music, which is rare. Normally the pit's down there and they do a great job of not making it disjointed, but I mean, it's even more direct connection with the actual actor doing it. It was just fascinating. That was really cool.
Yeah. And in our process, like, we really tried to highlight some of the beautiful lines on the violin, that may be interspersed or even at the same time as someone is saying even just a line of dialogue that might be underscored with like a beautiful violin line or a really cool guitar lick, so that we can show even more visually that those things are intertwined, that guitar lick or that violin line is not random.
Right.
Do
you have trouble with like the different levels of all the actors? Because I'm sure they're actors and musicians, so it doesn't mean they're necessarily fantastic at everything they do. There's probably stronger players, different. Like, how do you orchestrate who does what part? Because some are more physically challenging, or moving around. Even like some, it's hard to play a part if it's complicated and you're moving around a lot. Well, so how does that work?
Well, I will say that being in an actor-musician show is really extremely difficult. And sometimes, when people submit for our shows, because this is a professional theater company, so. And most of the people have agents, and most of them, are already working as a professional actor. But some people do submit who perhaps have seen the call for submissions. They put their resume in, or they just contact us, and they perhaps are. I'm going to use the phrase "just a musician," which we all know the work that goes into that, but they maybe haven't done much acting, or perhaps none at all. Unfortunately, we probably can't consider them, because we really are looking for people who are both an actor and a musician. Yep. And if it's also a singing role, we also need them to be able to sing at a certain level as well. So our auditions are really quite extensive.
Yeah.
How hard is it to find that person, though?
It's very difficult.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be.
It's very
to have
difficult.
People's, like, the combination of all of that together in one person.
Yeah, and then to your point, like, we do certainly end up having different levels of people, even in the final casting. As I said earlier, I just learned the viola, so my viola playing for Bright Star was not at the level of like Leah in our cast, who spent her life playing the violin and has a degree in violin, but also picked up viola at a very early age, and her viola playing in the show was much better than mine. So she played more viola in the show along with her violin playing.
That's one of the things
and
I was saying to her. Sorry,
played a little bit.
Yes, I was curious if you had certain ringers sort of in there in certain roles, because I noticed there was a couple players who were really, really good players, but their speaking parts were less. But I noticed they were doing a lot of the heavy lifting with the really challenging stuff.
Yeah,
is that the case?
I mean, perhaps, but what you maybe didn't see, which might blow your mind a bit too, is that in Bright Star, we all had our assigned roles, our primary roles on the stage, but almost everyone in the show also understudied another role in the show.
Wow.
So you might have seen somebody who only had a few speaking lines, but I will tell you that they probably understudied an entire primary big role in the show.
So their job some nights is to be the quieter playing role, and then other nights it's some more
and they would have gone into, like, they would have played Billy.
Right.
Had Billy been out of the show, they would have played Billy.
That's
a major,
big ask.
Big role in the show.
Yeah.
And that's professional theater, right?
It is. That's the way it goes, yeah.
If it was community theater, we might have twice as many people, because none of them are paid.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. And that
So
there's a whole politics of that.
Strength in numbers there.
And that, is it politics or is it just
the ego
the
thing
economics of
that's true
theater,
too, yeah.
You know?
It's a lot to juggle.
But when someone's volunteering, there's more onus to try to get them more involved than maybe they deserve to be necessarily.
So they're playing the background tree one night, and then the Billy the lead.
Double cast. Tonight you're playing Billy.
Standing there as a tree in the high school play.
Tonight you're playing the tree.
Yeah. Now, okay.
Oh man, there's some nights I would have loved to play the tree.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you would have. Yeah, just to take a break with all the things that you do. Yeah. Now, in terms of picking a production, what meets the criteria for the Garner Theatre Productions to sort of take that on? Like, what is it that says, yes, that's for us to take on and
such a
make
great
that happen?
question. There's so many great shows that we have on our list of things that we think would just be juicy actor-musician shows.
Sure.
Then there's also the hilarious list of shows that we know would be an absolute disaster as an actor-musician show. So we have that list too, which we like that list. We have a lot of fun with that list. And, you know, like the shows that we would love to do as actor-musician, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's time, it's budget, it's you know, working on getting more sponsorship. It's working on getting more grants. The government grants are really difficult to achieve. You have to work on your granting history. You know, we're a relatively new company. We just we started in 2018. The very, very first inklings of the company we incorporated in 2020. We actually had our official launch of the company in at the end of February 2020.
Neat.
Nice.
Yeah, great. And then, you know, the world closed for 3 years.
Yeah, that happened.
But we spent that time getting our charitable status. So by I think November of 2020, we had our charitable status. And then, you know,
well, looking at your list of accomplishments, I'm sure you didn't just lie down during that time.
No, we didn't. We did what we could.
There's a lot of stuff needed to be done, admin stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of planning and development.
We've done smaller projects, and you know, we did a big show. We did Man of La Mancha with Magnus Theatre in 2022. We did a bigger fringe show with and that was like a Canadian musical with a beautiful composer, Braden Soltis, in 2022 as well, and that was from scratch. Like, it's a brand new musical, and that is. There's so much work involved in a brand new musical. Yeah. It's called Guildwood. It's about the Guild of All Arts in Scarborough.
Yep. Grew up right
we did
near
all of that with no funding, not even from Toronto Arts Council, which was a little disappointing because it was about, you know, Scarborough. Mm-hmm. It was about a Toronto.
Yeah, local, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just really difficult to get your granting.
So how far along though? Like, let's say you have a play, you have an idea, you got something you want to accomplish. Like, how far into the planning do you get before you start looking to sell it on? Like, you start approaching companies about saying, "Hey, would you be interested?" Because you put that forward probably to Mervish and stuff like that, right? You'd say, "This is an idea we have." But do you have an example for them at that point? Have you developed anything?
Yeah, what we did. We just did Bright Star with Mervish, of course. They presented us, which was wonderful. We actually we developed Bright Star a lot before we presented it as an option to Mervish. We did a full workshop of Bright Star because we wanted to make sure that it was feasible as an actor-musician show, because we hadn't seen it done fully actor-musician.
What's the original like? I've never seen the actual original. Is it just like...
No instruments on stage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we raised enough money to do a 9-day workshop of it. Right. And I think we raised it was 35 or 40,000. Like, it costs some money to do a workshop because you have to pay all of the musicians, and you rent the space, and you pay a director and a music director and all the people, right? So it takes a bit.
Yeah.
And we realized at the end of that 9 days that we had a great product. We had two like presentations at the end of the 9 days that the general public could come to, and you can charge a modest fee for those at a workshop if you get the right rights. And you do have to get the rights. You have to buy the rights to do a workshop as well. And at the end of that, we had a lineup around the block to see the show. So we were like, oh,
for you.
This is something that Canada wants to see.
This works, yeah.
So we knew that we had a product that people are interested in. So from that, it took a while because that was in 2022. But we started talking to Mervish about it. Initially, I just called them about, potentially renting the CAA. And it very quickly turned into they wanted to present it. So that was wonderful.
Wow.
And really great. Really great.
How does Steve Martin and Edie Brickell come into this then?
Well, they wrote the piece.
Okay.
So they wrote the piece, so just like anybody writes the piece, they'll be paid, for their work.
Did they have any involvement?
No, they didn't have any involvement in it. No. And, we were trying to reach out to them to see if they wanted to come and see the piece.
Yeah.
I don't think it helped.
Quite a banjo player, right?
Yes,
he's amazing. Yeah, like he is an actor, musician, right?
Yeah, we were hoping that they would come and see our opening, but Steve got COVID.
Oh, did he?
Right before, and
during that time too, as well, right? That's a hard ask for getting people anywhere because we were all in lockdown. So it was kind of a.
Oh, actually, no. I mean, right before our opening here this year.
Yeah, this year.
And it was also right around the time of his 80th birthday. So.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't press
he's
it,
out there
but
now, right? So
got
to be careful.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Oh. There we go.
At any rate, so we were just thrilled. It was just wonderful to work with Mervish. They were just terrific to work with. And we're thrilled.
Yeah, you should be.
Excited.
That's fantastic, though.
So how do you, in terms of like preparing then for a role, like directing and coaching, is it the same kind of creative muscles that you kind of use for both, or even for actor versus musician? How would you kind of categorize those?
Oh, geez. That's a great question. I mean, I've done a lot of shows where it's actor musician.
Mm-hmm.
I've done just plays. Then I've done just musicals. It's all a lot of work, and it's all a lot of prep. And is it the same muscles? Yes, I think it is.
It all comes from a creative muscle, I guess.
Yes,
in
it
that
does.
regard, right?
Yes, it does. And I find, every year that the work needs to be done sooner. Yeah. And I think that's just a part of getting older. And that's okay, because I don't see a point in my life where I want to stop doing that work.
Right. It's in you. It's
it is.
definitely in
really
you.
is.
And now, in preparing for all that, do you still get nervous? Do you still get like that kind of opening night jitters or that kind of thing? Or is that?
I think, yes, I do, but it's excitement. It's funny. Years ago, I read a book by another Royal Conservatory examiner, and I was reading it because I used to get very, very nervous to do piano exams in particular. And I'm a voice examiner. I'm not a piano examiner. But they said that you think about it as being excited rather than being nervous. And I really thought that through a lot. And I think about that too. When I feel those nerves, I think, is this something to be worried about? Or am I just take it apart? What is this feeling that I'm feeling right now? And you probably can relate to that too. Is this something to be concerned about?
Right.
And no, it's not. If you're not prepared, then it maybe is something to be concerned about.
Right, because the unknown kind of thing, yeah.
But if you are prepared, then it's really just excitement that
That's
you're
the
feeling.
thing is, I think nervousness is a product of lack of preparation. You know you're not ready, and that's make you nervous. But if you know the stuff, if you know it down cold,
then it's excitement.
Then it's excitement.
Anytime I've had to do any kind of like public speaking thing or anything in front of a microphone, I was always like, again, preparing and thinking things like 3 a.m. What am I going to say, kind of thing, and trying all that preparation. And then once you're up, or leading up to the day of or the time of, it's that nervous excitement inside that, to me, I try my best to harness it as I'm alive, here I am, we're doing this. You know what I mean? That's what makes life exciting. You know what I mean? And I like how you switched it from nervousness to excitement. And that's where I kind of go, I can agree with that, because that is very much, those nerves, those butterflies in your stomach are there for a reason, you know? And I liked how you,
Well, there is some science I've read behind that too, right? Your body does, like that has a function. It's getting all your senses going. It's getting your mind rolling. It's getting you prepared to actually do that thing that you do, you know? And it's more, for me, I found that like when I started thinking about it more of, I'm just anxious to get started.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the waiting. I hate that.
I don't like the
sitting
waiting.
there waiting and you're just like, okay, let's go now. Like that's
For sure.
what I hate. And that's when I get all jittery, because I'm like, just let's go. But as soon as I'm up, I'm fine. Once you're into it.
Yeah. Hey, we're just going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. And now, back to the show. And speaking of waiting, we shouldn't wait any longer here for our food, because Tracy, she likes to feed people. So here we are with some local stuff around Toronto. So what we do here is we sample a little bit of food. So, let's hear it from Tracy then. What do we got here, Tracy?
Hey, guys. I apologize ahead of time. I think it's a messy one. So today, there's some extra napkins beside Jeremy and Gary there. Today we are having 2 tacos from 7 Lives Tacos in the Kensington Market. The first is a grilled citrus marinated chicken taco with onions and cilantro with house crema. And second is a mushroom and cactus taco with fried halloumi. 7 Lives has a very famous gobernador house smoked tuna and shrimp taco that will be available for sampling after the show as well. 7 Lives has a very simple interior with standing tables, yet a truly authentic taqueria with bold fusion combinations. An exception about 7 Lives is their serving size. As you can see, those tacos are massive. Typically, they're quite small and served in triplicates, but locals love how large these ones are, so they're known for that. Afterwards, we'll also be serving the carnitas, a braised pork taco, and it will be accompanied by 6 condiments, including salsa, crema, and house-made hot sauces, if you're brave enough. Yummy. And because it's tough to just pick one thing while strolling Kensington Market, we also stopped in at Little Pebbles Sweets on Baldwin Street. A warm pistachio lava cake we'll be having with a Mont Blanc cake with swirled chestnut puree and chantilly cream. This patisserie is a fusion of Japanese French cuisine, only in Toronto, right? So no wonder we're known as one of the world's most multicultural foodie cities. But back to the tacos. Not sure if I've given you enough time to chew and eat, but Donna, you love Mexican food apparently. So I'm really curious if you know of 7 Lives in Kensington Market and how you're finding the grilled chicken and also the cactus tacos.
I only made it through the first one. It's delicious.
Was it the chicken?
Fantastic.
Yes. I love it.
I like those a lot. And they're like multi-layered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they put 2 or 3 tacos.
They're very hearty in terms of what they got. Those are delicious.
I love that kind of taco too.
The corn tortilla?
The corn tortilla, yeah. It's just so effective.
Yeah, and again, this place is just basic. You walk in, standing room only, or standing tables only, and they've got like a medley of sauces that you can really get into. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like my hot sauce.
I'm glad you like it. It's just a tiny piece of our Kensington Market.
Hello.
That's a great place. Kensington's awesome for
I love Kensington.
A variety of everything there, yeah. Wow. So we were talking about, you mentioned the Royal Conservatory of Music, and you're in education and Sheridan College as well. So when you're dealing with students, actor, musician students, what's like one of the main things that you'd say that they're a misunderstanding or anything like that kind of they think about building a career in this?
In actor musicianship, or just the business?
Well, I guess the business, because it is a business, and how does one build a career then in that as a young person?
If there's a misunderstanding, I think often young students think that they're going to graduate and then they're going to work, and it's going to be a steady stream of work.
Right.
From the time they graduate.
This way up, right?
And,
right to the top.
So I try to gently encourage them to explore their own work in addition to the theaters and the companies that they would like to work for, because there will be times in between all of the theaters that they're going to work for that they will have times when they need to find their own creative outlets, as I have done.
Yep.
And it's kind of grown into this project. I mean, this company. And to also find the other work that they can do that they love to do. That can be a bit of a side job to what they're doing in the industry.
Well, if you go into any kind of arts with the expectation of wealth, you're in the wrong business to start with. It takes a lot to get to those kind of areas, and you got to love what you do, and you got to love doing it for the sake of doing it, and find a lot of happiness in there. Because I'm not saying you can't be successful, but as we all know, you should see his paintings. I don't know if you've seen his paintings, but all of us at this table know what it's like if you're living on that art. That's really, really, you're taking on one of the hardest things on the planet to do. To be successful as an artist is a very tricky thing.
And it's a constant, it can be a struggle, but it's a constant, what is it? Not a fight, but it's kind of one of those things that does take a consistent effort to really keep creative, keep pumping out the work, and also still keeping it in you as well. Yep. That fire inside still burns, And
that's easier to do when it's going well.
Oh, of course.
It's harder to do when it's not going well.
When it's not going well,
those dead spots like you talked about, those dead spots in there. If you don't love it, those are the ones that'll kill you. But
I don't know about you guys. Like, I like the variety of the other projects that I work on too, that I have worked on. Like, a couple summers ago, I finished a show, and this job sort of dropped in my lap. My nephew actually owns STEM camp, so he has summer camps for kids in STEM. And we were just having lunch one day, and he said, "Oh, do you know anybody in the GTA? I'm looking for a regional manager for STEM camp." And I said, "Yeah, I might." I said, "When do you need them?" And he told me the dates, and I said, "Actually, I'm done. I have a theater contract that finishes just before that." I said, "If you can't find anybody, I would be interested in that contract." And, as it turned out, I ended up being his regional manager that summer. And I really enjoyed that position because, obviously I've taught a lot of people of all ages, so I was quite qualified for the position in that regard, of managing and dealing also with the children and the managers of all ages, because they were, up to and beyond high school age and university age. But I enjoyed just doing nothing that had anything to do with performing or music and just being a STEM camp regional manager for 2.5 months.
Perfect. And then also too, I want to touch on the instruments in hands. When you're saying you're dealing with young people and all this stuff, tell us about the instrument in hands project that you have going on.
Yeah, I love being a performer, but my whole life I've also taught. I started teaching the piano when I was, 18 or 19, and I started teaching voice a few years later. And I don't teach piano anymore, but I've taught voice my whole life. Even when I was on tour in the U.S. for 4 years, I was still teaching my voice students back here over, I think I was using FaceTime at the time. This was even before COVID and everyone started doing everything on Zoom. Because I love to teach and it's important to me. So when we started the theater company, I really wanted to we wanted to have an educational component. And the idea that I came up with was to have a program called Instruments in Hands. So the concept is that we have, we pair an individual who doesn't have the means to buy an instrument for themselves and doesn't have the means to pay for lessons. And we pair them with an actor-musician who teaches them, mentors them, works with them one-on-one, and teaches them the instrument of their choice. And we find an instrument for them. And over the time, over a period of time, a bunch of lessons, however many we determine, they earn the instrument. Now, some instruments are more expensive than others. So, we fundraise so that we can pay for the instrument for them. Some instruments are more expensive than others, as I mentioned. Yeah. So, you can get a decent guitar, as you know, for a student for a few $100. You get a crappy guitar for $100, but you get a decent guitar for a few $100 or $500. But a brass instrument, they're very expensive.
Super expensive.
Brass and woodwind instruments are super expensive. We managed, right now, our current student that we're working with, we managed to get a great reconditioned saxophone for them for $750. But that's so much money for someone to come up with on their own. And even us, because we're such a small company, we have to fundraise a lot to get that money for them. And then we raise the money also to pay the actor-musician teacher. And it's good for the actor-musicians, too, because they don't always have a lot of money themselves in between gigs.
Sure.
Maybe they're waitressing, maybe they're catering, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with those jobs, but I think it's nice also for them to use some of the skills that they have and do some teaching as well. Some of them are experienced teachers. Some of them maybe haven't taught before, so maybe it's good for them to be mentored by someone like myself who's done a lot of teaching, or some of my other colleagues that have done some teaching, so that they then gain experience in teaching as well. So it becomes like threefold.
Yeah, it feeds itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a win-win-win.
Yeah.
Really for
does.
The students, for the teachers, for everyone involved.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Great. What a great program.
Yeah, it is a great program.
Wow.
And we've got some great teachers that are like super experienced. Like Bobby Shu right now is teaching in our program, and he's like, the guy's got that Sondheim Jazz project that he does in the city, and like he's like the super cool musician. Like I'm like, I can't believe he's like.
You're dealing with the right people here, right?
I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
that's when you know
so
something
great.
right, though.
I love to hear that. That's a great, sort of connection amongst everybody to have that through music, right?
One of our other teachers,
and teaching that,
he was playing for the TSO, and he said, "Donna, I don't want you to pay me. I'd rather you get a better trumpet for this gal. So don't pay me. Put the money towards a better trumpet."
That's fantastic.
Well,
I was like, wow.
That is a good news, good feeling story to end on there. I do want to say thank you very, very much for coming, Donna.
Great.
Oh, man.
I feel like we could go on for another 3 hours.
For so long.
And there's so much to cover with you that one appearance here is not enough. So we're going to have you back sometime soon.
My pleasure. I really appreciate you.
We could dig in a lot deeper. Yeah, no,
so
thank
fun,
you.
Yeah, it's great.
So thank you very much for coming. And anybody that would like to sort of learn more about Donna, you can find Donna at GarnerTheatreProductions.com.
Yep.
And we really appreciate you making an appearance here on the Riff today. Thank you very much, Donna.
Yeah,
Totally
thank you.
my pleasure.
All right.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Crazy.
Not only, oftentimes we have guests and they're fun. All our guests are fun to have on the show.
Yeah.
But when you walk away with learning something, I think that's the added bonus. And I walked away with learning something today.
Yeah. And I also love to, there's a lot of musicians kind of floating around. Musicians can be some of the floatiest people ever, but it's really wild when you meet a person who has both the talent and the get up and go and the organizational skills and the drive and all that stuff. That's a very, very rare individual. And
we are in rare
company there, because most people don't do anything ever, and she does everything ever.
Wow.
So it's
all right.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, anyway.
Anything
Tons
else?
of fun, Gary.
Yeah, no, we're kind of running out of time here, so
I'm getting hungry too. So there you go.
And all those tacos just kind of like started the appetite going there.
we'll have to finish up with the rest of the tacos.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, we'll end it there.
Sounds good.
Okay, that's it for me. So it's a goodbye from me,
and it's a goodbye from him.